Here is question 3B, part 2. Here's our question, and we're looking at whether or not the games organisers want to be able to predict accommodation, transport, and the number of different heats and finals at each different cycling event. So we've been given information on the table there on our pie chart. We've got information about the age of cyclists from 2012. And the question is, how useful is that information for the organisers to make a prediction? Okay, so let's start by thinking about the number of heats and finals. So in order for us to figure out, for the organisers of 2016 Olympics to work out how many heats or finals they need to run, what information would they need to have? So in order to be able to predict the number of heats and finals at every different cycling event, they would need to know the number of competitors. So for example, they need to know how many are going to compete in the mountain biking event, how many in the road race, how many in the sprints, and within the different sprints, are they individuals, are they teams, all of those kind of things. So the key idea is the information that the organisers need is the number of competitors in each event. So they also need to know how many entries there are in individual or group races, so they can decide how much time needs to be allocated, and therefore how many heats and how many semi-finals or quarterfinals that they might need. So therefore, knowing the ages of the cyclists is not at all helpful. Okay, so knowing how old these cyclists are is not giving us any information that we want, and the information we want is the number of cyclists in every event. Okay, now let's think, so that's looking at the number of heats and finals. Let's have a think now about the accommodation. In order to predict how much accommodation is needed, what information would the organisers need to know? So to predict that, organisers need to know, for example, how many males and females there are. So there's separate accommodation for the males and separate accommodation for the females. So they need to know how many there are of each gender. Knowing the ages of the cyclists isn't going to help us with that. We also need to know there are different events, so they may be in different locations. So for example, the mountain biking event might be in a forest a long way away from the velodrome or from the road racing, and so the organisers need to know the number of competitors in each event, and that then they can look at booking accommodation in certain places, etc., etc. So they need to know both what the gender balance is, male and female, and they need to know how many competitors in each event there are. So knowing the age of cyclists, again, is not helpful at all. Okay, so that's looking at accommodation, looking at the number of heats and finals, and the last one is thinking about transportation. So again, the question is, what information would they need to know to work out transportation and predict how much transportation is required, the costs of it, etc., etc. So they would need to know the number of competitors from each country. So they can look at, right, this country is coming in at this time, this country is coming in at this time, so they can organise the transportation as they arrive in the country, and also what the number of competitors in each event are. Are they going to take out 20 people to the mountain biking event? Are they going to be taking 300 people out to the mountain biking event? So they need to know the number of competitors in each event. So again, for this one again, knowing the ages of it is not at all helpful. So in terms of marking, what we want to see there is if you can come up with one valid comment, then that gets you a U, an achieve level skill. If you're able to make 2 valid comments, then that would get you an R. If you're able to make 3 valid comments, then that gets you through to a T.